Welcome back to MMA Al Dente. I'm here to talk about Derrick Lewis versus Marcos Rogerio de Lima. Both guys are 38 years old. Marcos is 21-8-1 as a pro. Derrick Lewis is 26-11. And Derrick also has 2 inches of height and 4 inches of reach over Marcos. Lewis is the bigger guy, but these guys, despite having fought radically different competition, it looks like one's trending one way, one's trending the other way. And I know they're both 38, so I don't know how much future either guy has. But Marcos has looked incredible as of late. He's looked the best he's ever looked, to be honest. He's settled into being a heavyweight. Again, this guy wasn't always a heavyweight, but he looks every bit a heavyweight now, aside from maybe in this fight when he's standing across from Derrick Lewis. But my point is Marcos Rogerio de Lima hits like a heavyweight. He's got serious power in his punches and his kicks. He's got super heavyweight kicks. This guy, he kicks like a fucking truck. And he has arguably won his last 5 fights. The one loss is I think it's split against Bogoy Ivanov. Either way, if it's unanimous or split, it was very fucking close. And aside from that, Marcos has looked really good as of late. Taking out some solid veterans, Ben Rothwell, Andrei Arlovsky, and even schooling a newcomer, Waldo Cortez Acosta. He handed him his first loss. And he looked like he should have looked in that fight, Marcos Rogerio de Lima. He was fighting a guy who theoretically had better hands than him, and he did everything but, and he did it very well. Slammed him with low kicks and ripped him to the mat, and he fought well for 15 minutes. And I think he's going to have to, or he should try to duplicate that performance against Derrick Lewis. Derrick Lewis, though, he's a tricky fighter. I think where Derrick Lewis can really surprise some people is on the ground. And Marcos, even though I think he would, takedowns would come more easily to Marcos Rogerio de Lima, he's got to be careful because if he gets stuck underneath Derrick Lewis, I think the fight's over. Derrick Lewis has historically been very, very tough to finish on the ground. Only 2 guys have ever done it. Sergey Spivak and Daniel Cormier. That's it. And those are also the only 2 times he's ever been submitted. But he's lost 7 times by TKO, and every one of those was standing. Every single one of them. My point is, on the ground, Derrick Lewis has always been a little underrated. You go back and watch his first 7 UFC fights, you're going to see him taken down in 6 of them, maybe, and mounted in every one of those fights, probably. He was mounted and really being out-grappled, and probably every one of those he ended up finishing with a knockout, and a good amount of them come on the ground. He's finished a lot of fighters on the ground. He's got once he advances to mount, it's over. But he's got decent passing, for a guy that's not a very fluid jiu-jitsu player. And obviously he's got some devastating ground and pound, especially if he's past your legs. It's probably over. And he can knock you out. And he's also, Derrick Lewis, kind of got deceptively good cardio. He has in the past anyway. We've seen him, fall apart a little bit down the stretch in some fights. But in a lot of fights, he's been there where you'd expect his opponent to be the last man standing. It was Derrick Lewis. And a lot of that's probably attributable to heart. He's had a lot of heart. And again, I know you can point to some of his losses and go, yeah, this guy's got heart. But yeah, Derrick Lewis, the majority of his wins in the UFC were fights he was losing. So yeah, he's definitely got heart, and it's responsible for a good portion of his victories. But it's looked less impressive and less impressive as his career's gone on. And just like I talked about Marcos Rogerio de Lima being on a great streak here, Derrick Lewis is on a horrible streak. And of course, these are against excellent fighters, guys that Marcos Rogerio de Lima would lose against. But still, considering his age, the mileage, and the way he's looked, I feel comfortable saying Derrick Lewis has lost a step. I think Marcos should win this fight. It wouldn't surprise me at all if Derrick Lewis won, and of course it'd be by knockout, whether it's on the feet or on the ground. But I really would think, Marcos could get caught up on the ground. Marcos isn't the best grappler at all, and defensively, I'd say he's worse than Derrick Lewis. So He's really got to mind his P's and Q's. But I do think Marcos will have better takedowns, and I know he will have better striking on the outside. Derrick Lewis has some good timing, some weird, he'll throw like a fucking jumping side kick. He's got some surprises on the feet. But generally, if no one's being surprised, Marcos Rogerio de Lima is going to be the matador, and he's going to be much quicker, and he's going to be chewing up Derrick Lewis's leg from the outside. So Marcos Rogerio de Lima is the pick. I think it's going to be very tough for him to put away Derrick Lewis, even though Derrick Lewis hasn't looked great as of late. But again, it wouldn't surprise me at all. I mean, Marcos could knock him out with strikes, punches, standing like he did to Ben Rothwell. Could chew his leg up, or he could get him on the ground and make him quit. But I don't think that's going to happen. A gun to my head, I'd go with decision, but I'm definitely going with Marcos Rogerio de Lima. Like, share, subscribe, all that horseshit. Check out my other videos.